It's my party, I'll go live if I want to, live if I want to, live if I want to. You could live too if you happen to, YouTube. Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming here on my birthday. Oh my God, like I've said in my previous video, I have never actually done a live. I did them by accident. Like I have lives on this channel, but I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to just upload the video and create it beforehand. So I was creating lives not intentionally, but this year is all about being intentional. So I wanted to show up here because this is one of my favorite things to do is to do these YouTube videos. So I do a lot of my favorite things on my birthday, and today is my birthday. Thanks for coming out here. If you're not here on the live, I really appreciate you being on the channel either way. And if you watch it afterwards, that's great. And any new people out there, this channel is called Tasleem Leila. It's my name and my mom's name in honor of her. And yeah, so today I wanted to talk about birthdays. I'm wearing my party hat and my party beads. I think these are like Mardi Gras beads. And yeah, over the past year, they've had some significance for me. So anyway, it's a chat about birthdays, things that have come up for me in terms of birthdays. So one of the first things for me is that I have been really surprised at how different people view the importance of birthdays. Like there are some people that have been around me in the past couple of years that are like younger than me, and they don't put a lot of significance to birthdays. And I think they found it odd that I was really excited, not just about my own, but especially about theirs and other people's. And I didn't know how to deal with it because I was like, I would do things to like kind of in a small way celebrate their birthday. And yeah, I think they felt almost uncomfortable about it. And it's not because they were older. It's not because they are not fun or that kind of thing or not into parties. But I learned that growing up, or yeah, for them, birthdays weren't as, I don't want to say as significant, but significant in the same way that maybe they were to me. So I mentioned that there is someone in particular that I was really shocked by who said he never celebrated birthdays. And that person is Prince. Now, of course, I don't know Prince personally. Well, I shouldn't say of course. Who knows? I could have maybe ever met him sometime in the past, but I never did. But ironically, he was a huge part of every birthday that I had musically because Prince and Michael Jackson were always at my birthday, not as guests in the, in the live form, but in the form of their music. I always celebrated with Prince and Michael Jackson's music. So I want to read you this quote from an interview that I heard with Prince that kind of blew me away. I want to know what you think. So it says, he said, actually, once a person gets a firm grip of life and death, then they fully understand both. For example, you had how many birthdays? He asked the interviewer. So this man thinks that Prince is trying to guess his age. And so the interviewer says, me, what do you think? Like he doesn't even want to give away his age. And Prince says, "Well, I know that you had one birthday. You were born on a certain day. You had no more birthdays after that." So, I don't know about you, but I was definitely thinking about that, and I think the interviewer was like, "Oh, okay." So, Prince said, "So, I don't celebrate birthdays, and that stops me from counting days, which stops me from counting time, which allows me to still look the same as I did 10 years ago." Just like, and I think he motions towards like a picture on the screen of him, you know, years before performing. And he did in that interview look the same. And then he gets up and does this like little booty shake with his butt in the interview. And I was like, oh, that is so interesting and kind of cool because this is Prince, who's, line in one of his songs is like, "We're gonna party like it's 1999." And I figured his birthdays would be like huge celebrations, but he was saying it's not that he doesn't like birthdays, it's that he doesn't need to keep track of time or how old he is because that to him has no significance on how he's gonna live his life. And not keeping track of the time or the days or the birthdays by not celebrating them actually made him feel more energized and look, I don't want to say youthful because that's going to be part of this live stream. It's like, yeah, but I think he was trying to say, like, I live a great life because I don't count the days that I've lived. I live those days. Ooh, I like that. I like the way I said that. Yeah. So he was just really adamant that we only have one birthday. That's the day that we were born, and it happens one time in our lifetime. It doesn't happen over and over and over again every year. We don't get reborn, reborn, reborn. Well, it depends how you think of birthdays in life. But yeah, so it made me curious because I was like, oh, but does that mean like Christmas only happened once, so we shouldn't celebrate it all the other times? I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting. And it made me want to find out what you guys think about birthday celebrations. Do you celebrate your birthday? Is it a big deal? Was it maybe a big deal when you were younger and it was more a child thing, and then as you grew older, it was less celebrated or less important? Yeah, because for me, when I was younger, I definitely had birthdays, and my mom was always really great about making sure that I felt very loved and appreciated on my birthday. But I was shy. I think there was like this push to make sure kids were invited to things. So either I would invite people to things that I celebrated, um, or I got invited to things, but it wasn't necessarily because I knew those kids well or that I wanted to be around them or that they wanted to be around me. It was just more like, um, what makes kids feel good, that they just are included. So I wasn't sure what I thought of that when I was younger, but as I got older, strangely enough, my birthdays got bigger and bigger and like really big. Like every year I would have huge birthdays, especially um, when I was dancing a lot because you meet so many people through the dance world. And I took that like idea that I don't want to miss someone. Like I want to include everyone. But I yeah, so I had big birthdays and I loved it. It wasn't like I needed to be noticed or like be given gifts or anything like that. It was more that I loved seeing all these people from different parts of my life coming together on one day to, and I felt like, wow, something about my energy brought these people together. So I love that. And I would have huge birthdays, like really big birthdays. But there were 2 things that happened to me that changed that, or I don't know if happened to me, but happened in my life that changed that. One was that my mom passed away, and the year before she passed away, for some stupid reason, I didn't ask her to come to my birthday celebration. It wasn't like I invited everyone else in the family. I didn't invite people in the family, but my mom was always a part of my birthdays. And for some reason that year, I just thought that the kind of celebrating that we were doing was not really like going to be easy for her to get to or whatever. But actually, that was just a stupid excuse because now that I think about it, at that time, I would have loved actually just to spend my birthday with my mom that day. Like, and after my mom passed away, I no longer wanted to have birthdays. She's passed for 10 years. I haven't had big birthdays at all since then. And I put back my birthday hat. Well, my celebratory hat. Um, but yeah, so I wasn't having big birthdays at all since then. And I also I think just with having mobility issues, I was around a lot of people that were dancing when I was having these big birthdays. And so when I wasn't dancing as much, it felt a bit weird to just be, I mean, I loved watching other people dance, but it it took away something from me. And then after my mom passed away, I think I really looked at who are the people that really mean something in my life. And there were a lot of fair weather friends that I loved hanging out with, especially for dancing and music and having fun, but they weren't deep friendships at all. And so I stopped doing that. But I, yeah. And before then, a friend of mine had died by suicide. I wasn't super close with her, but we knew each other in university. And I didn't see it coming at all. And before she passed away, she had had a birthday and I didn't show up for it. I don't remember what was going on at the time, but I wasn't super close with her. But I think she was really disappointed. Not that I didn't show up, but that her birthday and certain parts of her life didn't happen the way that she wanted. And she was super young and very ambitious and achieved things that other people her age weren't achieving. Um, and so after she passed away, and it was such a shock to all of us because we definitely didn't see it coming. I think on that side, I started really appreciating birthdays, but almost to an obsession. Like I was scared that if I didn't reach out to someone on their birthday, even if I didn't know them that well, that it could affect them in a negative way. And I also felt like if I did reach out to someone on their birthday, maybe it could change everything for them. And that was not me putting a lot of power on myself. It's not like I think my phone call or my wishes to someone on their birthday like changes everything in their life. It was just anybody. Like sometimes we don't realize that people are needing someone and you don't know who the people are that are needing someone. Sometimes they're the people that look like they're having the most fun and don't need anything. So that changed a lot of things for me about birthdays. It made me obsessive about birthdays towards people that I didn't really know very well, but just thought, oh, I should call them and message them, and also appreciating birthdays to an extent that, yeah, then I was having these big birthdays. But then when my mom passed away, I stopped. And even my birthday cake since then doesn't say happy birthday to me. I specifically order it in a way that says on it, thank you for having me, mom or mommy. Because I think birthdays for me are like, that's the person that gave birth to me. And I want to spend every birthday with my mom. So I try to do it in a spiritual way, whether it's going, even if I go out for lunch today or do something, like I almost prefer being on my own so that I can have time with my mom, unless I'm with someone that understands that. And yeah, so I wanted to say I pretend that she's in front of me, like at the dinner or lunch or whatever, but I don't think it's pretending. I think it's like I really feel into that. Yeah. So when Prince didn't celebrate his birthday, maybe he didn't even know how old he was at a certain point. So I'm curious because some people, like even his interviewer, thought that Prince was trying to guess the interviewer's age, and the interviewer didn't give it away, even though he was male. And I think typically there's this like saying that, oh, well, a gentleman doesn't ask a lady her age, whereas I don't know. I don't know that men care so much about their age, but if the interviewer was almost nervous to reveal his age and he was male, and Prince might not even have known his own age, like it makes me really curious because I know people who will never tell anyone their age, and they actually lie about their age. I get it sort of when you have to do it for a job, like, you have to be a certain age to like get into this industry, and they totally look the part and can play the younger role, like especially in acting and that kind of thing. Maybe they have a reason to lie about it. But yeah, there are people that just lie about it because they don't want to have that number connected to them, even though they have actually been living on this earth for that many years. It's like they don't want it to be a thing. There are other people that don't actually know their real birthday because there are different cultures that have different like birthday um customs with like having your birth certificate. Like they don't have their actual birth certificate, and then something happened in their life where their parents created another birth certificate, so they don't even know their real birthday. I think that would freak me out. I don't know. Like I don't know why it grounds me that I know when I was born. Um yeah, I feel like the age, like lying about your age thing, sort of reminds me of I used to work a little bit in retail. Those were my first jobs, was selling clothing in, little boutiques and things. And there would be women that came into those places that would like they didn't want to be a size 10 or 12. So they would buy dresses that were too tight for them because the number made them feel better. So they would buy an 8 or a 6. And the weird thing is that not all clothing is made like the sizing varies. So a 6 in one brand could be an 8 like the size of an 8 in another brand. So you're just buying the number for the number, which weirdly makes you feel better, but it looks awful. Like, I would try to tell people, not so directly, but, like, I would want to try to sell them something that actually looks good on them, but they didn't want the one that looked better. They wanted the one that the size made them feel like they were not as big, or yeah, and I feel like sometimes people do that with birthdays, like, "Oh, if I pretend that I'm this age, then I don't have to admit that I've actually lived on this earth for this long." And you're just lying to yourself. You're not really lying to other people, but that's my opinion. When people So I don't directly say to people what my age is, but I don't lie about it. Like, if someone asks me, I will totally tell them my age. Yeah. So what are all your thoughts on this? Because I have not really done a proper live, I have not even been checking if there are any comments or anything. I don't even know if I've done it like correctly, set it up so that the comments can come through. So you'll have to excuse me. I might have to look at them later so I don't get distracted. I'm also looking at the time. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say was that in the dance world, there is something called birthday dances. Now, if any of you are in a partner dance world, especially when it's not a ballroom dance, but it's more like street style, like salsa, bachata, Latin dancing, kizomba, um, zouk, and a mixture of all these, or even fusion and blues and that. Oftentimes, when there's someone's birthday, if they're a female, they will be, well, whether they're male or female, they will be asked to come to the middle of the dance floor. And then the partners of the opposite sex, usually, but it can be a mixture, circle around that person. So if I'm in the middle, all the males would circle around me. Or if a male is in the middle, all the women, like all of us, would circle around him. And whoever wants to dance with the birthday boy or birthday girl would go in and grab them. But it's not just a grabbing, it's like really, I think there's such an art, and I actually learned this a little bit, to very smoothly transition from dancing with one partner to the next, and also being the person that goes into like a lead who grabs or invites or gets the person who is in the middle to dance with you, but in a really smooth way where like all three people are working really well together, because there's two people already dancing together, and then this outsider person comes in and has to navigate how they're going to get the person in the middle to dance with them now. And it's not a like, oh, she's mine now or he's mine now. It's actually like teamwork, and when it's done really well, it seriously is an art on its own. And in all the years that I was dancing, I never got a birthday dance. When I say that, it sounds like I'm being a bit childish, or like, oh, I never got to do that, or nobody picked me, or that kind of thing. But actually, I realized that it's because I'm pretty sure I was putting out an energy that said, I don't need a birthday dance, or I'm not comfortable with a birthday dance, or just not telling people that it was my birthday, or because when I would show up to events, I think I was a little bit more hesitant. and I was shy or nervous about like whether my body could handle certain things, and there were some dancers who were a little bit more aggressive and some that were lighter, and there were some women who could handle all of those. But I also think it's up to the person who is like maybe tends to be more aggressive or tends to be lighter or whatever, to adjust to the person, especially if it's their birthday, because you're going in to try to to say, hey, I'm going to dance with you next, and they should adjust. So it was sad that I didn't trust that they would, and it was sad that I didn't trust that I could keep up, and that it's sad that I didn't give myself the chance to have those birthday dances, because even though I never fully had a birthday dance where it was like officially my birthday and there were people around me, like loads of people, like I would love it if there were all these guys around me circling me and choosing to, like, come and dance with me and stuff. I would love that. And even some of the girls are amazing leads, so it would be really fun. Even though I never had that, I did get tastes of it at socials. There were people that were really experimenting between on one salsa and on two. And it's really maybe not the easiest or best thing to do, but they would actually like grab me if they knew that I could do some of the on two moves at that time, because I was learning, and they would do like what would be like a birthday dance, but on a much smaller scale. And one guy would be dancing with me, and then another guy would come in, and like I would turn, and then this other guy would grab me, and it would always be like back and forth. And I loved the feeling. I absolutely loved it. And then even with one dancer, like some dancers knew like bachata and salsa and zouk, and so they would mesh it all in together, and it felt like I was dancing with different people, but it was just different dances that they could incorporate. And yeah, there was actually a workshop in Portland that I went to that was a zouk, lamba zouk workshop that taught how to transition between different partners back and forth. Because in that world, it is quite common for the men to be dancing with like two women, and sometimes two men are dancing with one woman, or and so I got a taste of it and I loved it. And I really wish that I had allowed myself to experience more fully, more often, birthday dances in those dance scenes, because I had a lot of birthdays over that time period. It was a lot of years. And unlike Prince, I was very aware of when it was my birthday, and I was counting the days and the moments and the years. And when I think about that, was like at least 15 years of my life, I didn't have a birthday dance in those 15 years. Yet I was out dancing often on my birthdays. And so yeah, I'm wondering if you guys have experienced birthday dances, if any of you guys are partner dancers out there, if you know what I'm talking about, how it feels to be the person that goes in and grabs someone, how it feels to be the person that's celebrating the birthday that's being grabbed for all the dances. Um, yeah, I wanted to show up here to sort of say that aging is an interesting thing, because when people shut down aging and birthdays, okay, maybe you're like Prince and you don't want to celebrate it because you're living life and you're enjoying it, which is great. But if it's more that you want to hide and pretend that you're not aging, like, the thing is, it's such a beautiful thing that we came into this world. Like the likelihood, not to make you picture your parents like, consummating your birth, like, or having sex and coming together to have you, but the it's a miracle, like, to actually have those seeds come together and be planted and make you. Like, the chances of it are so tiny, yet it happened, and here you are, and here I am. And every birthday, I thank my every day since my mom has passed away, I the first thing I do is I say a prayer thanking the universe for taking care of her, but also and her guides and ancestors and God. But I then thank my mom for having me and for being my mom because I am a miracle here that she made. I'm gonna try not to cry. And you are a miracle of your parents, regardless of whether you are close with your parents or not. You came here out of such a tiny chance, and you're here. And I think birthdays are really precious and should be celebrated however you want to, even that if that's a quiet celebration on your own or a big, huge celebration, like it's, partying like it's 1999. Yeah, I would love to hear how you celebrate and what you think of aging. I told you that I was going to reveal today what I decided about my hair, about my am I going to keep growing out my grays or am I going to color? Because usually by the time my birthday comes, I would have colored my hair. But today, as you can see, I still have not colored my hair. It's still gray and it's like 4 inches maybe out with no color. And I have decided that I'm going to continue it. I'm going to keep going with it. And I'm not going to put pressure on myself that this has to be like this all the time. Like maybe, you know, a year or a few months down the line, I might decide to color it, but I want to give myself a chance to see what it looks like when it's all grown out and it's all gray. And I get to use my purple shampoo um, to make sure there's no brassiness. I want to see what it looks like. I mean, I can already see in this that the front part makes it look um, a little colder on my skin, but I want to see what it all looks like together. And I also want to give it a chance to see if it makes my hair healthier. So yeah, I'm growing out my grays for now. I will be doing more videos on the progression of it and more in depth about why I made this choice. But I do want to say that I really appreciate all your comments in like whether it was encouraging the grays or not. It's just that you guys were listening and giving me your feedback. It was really helpful. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't think that I'm going to be worrying that it makes me look older because I am getting older and I'm going to be proud of it. Yay for birthdays. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, all of you guys, for listening. Yeah, hopefully you were able to hear this. If you were able to comment, that would be great. I see some comments here, Gary. Yay, thank you for the comment. I really appreciate it. And I will read more of them later because I don't know if it was just the one comment or yeah, but I so appreciate you showing up here. And yeah, I will be talking to all of you very soon. Okay, I got to figure out how to end this. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.